Howdy folks, my name's Gamblore, and this is my story. Like all great stories, this one begins with a dream. A dream to go north, to make my fortunes in the annual IGVC competition, Robotics Premiere. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I was born in the University of Central Florida, Orlando. My life began at the Robotics Club at UCF as a series of concept art drawings, which soon evolved into some scientific CAD. I had hoped to be gigantic one day and rule the world with my robotic fearsomeness, but alas, my measurements were in meters and not kilometers. It was my parents who made me who I was. There was old man Daniel, who's always happy and supportive. Sometimes I wondered about him, but even when I was going through some rough times and thinking some weird things, he was a little bit disappointed at times, but he always had my back. Then there was Brian. He was the weird one, Lord of the Strudel they called him. He always left me in a mess. He was more of a software guy. I secretly referred to him as Lord of the Huggies, Lord Protector of the Huggies. There was this John guy too. He was always an interesting character. He used to like to dress me up with his hat and stuff. You always find him in weird spots doing weird things, but he was a good guy. Rick and Shane were my mom, so to speak. They always built me up literally and figuratively. Rick, they called him the god of aluminum and rivets, and I don't doubt that, but I always sort of thought he was master of the winds. Shane, he wasn't there too much, but he always did good stuff. Then there was Gary, crazy Gary. He was always there in the background, always helping somebody, and you could always depend on him in a pinch. Those were the people who made me who I was. But enough about them already. I'm ready to blast off. We started out at the University of Central Florida one early June morning. They packed me up in a van, took some pictures to remember myself by, and off we went. I hadn't been out too much, so the whole leaving Orlando thing was pretty exciting. Got to see downtown and some convoys, although I didn't pay too much attention to them. The humans seemed rather interested, but it's just 4 vehicles. I was a little bit more interested in the cones along the road. Those things are fascinating. My humans always want me to avoid them, and I don't know why. They're so colorful and pretty. There was some cool stuff to see along the way. There was a sunset with a lake, some mountains. There's this weird guy statue with his hands up in the air. There was this really interesting giant basketball. I'm not sure what it was for, but looked pretty impressive. There are some weird things in Charleston. Shrimp and grits.
For you, Justin.
While I was chilling in the back, you could tell the humans driving were getting pretty tired. It's 20 hours from Orlando to Michigan, and you could tell they were getting bored when they started counting the stinking creek signs. They also got this green little bird thing, not sure why. You could tell their brain power is also decreasing.
Is it illegal to film aircraft flying?
Yeah, go figure. But we finally got there, or sorta got there.
Student apartments?
Let's go. It's a freebie. Look at those bastards with their trailers.
We passed them. Remember?
Oh,
the whatever?
Structural Dynamics Research Lab.
And you know what I said? They're probably going to IGVC.
Yeah.
This is the same place as...
Wow, their robot's huge.
Holy crap, how they...
That looks like it's for DARPA.
Probably is.
Alright, well...
Same place.
Oh, it's a haven of barricades of barrels.
Well, they have 2 tents now.
It's like a...
Now that we had arrived, they took me into the tent and set me up in their workstation. Then they took me out for a spin, made sure everything still worked, which did. But they think I'd break it along the way.
Very good.
Yeah, not bad.
Does it show the classified image too?
Yeah.
Let me see. Is it classifying anything?
Well, yeah. Whatever it sees. Let me try to see what the memory leak is first. That was slowing down very quickly.
We only had several days to make this thing work, so we worked overtime. They made me work at night. It was rather interesting. Instead of lines on grass, they put down some toilet paper and pulled the van over to get some light. I was not impressed, but it did seem to do the trick. I will give them this. Those humans did work pretty hard.
This is so ghetto.
Yeah, it is. Okay, cool.
Good afternoon. My name is BrianCBecker, and I'm here to present the Gamblore LX500 robot from the University of Central Florida. Go back down. Quit whining like a baby, you're not gonna die.
Finally, it was my turn to do stuff. I had to navigate autonomously, all by myself with just my computer, through an obstacle course outdoors with painted lines. Unfortunately, not all was as it should be.
I'm gonna guess the compass went out. Well, that's rather interesting.
It appeared that on the final day of competition that the final system integration hadn't gone quite as well as we had hoped, and we weren't able to qualify. However, we did win 3rd place in design. Of course, as soon as the humans got their grubby little mitts on that award, they promptly broke the glass. I was not amused. Oh well, all things considered, it was still a pretty good year. And there's always next year to win first prize. Of course, the humans were not amused that they had to drive 20 hours back home. In fact, they complained every step of the way.
I hate UI 75 and 85. What do you say?
I'm fine with that.
Well, the good news is the story ain't over yet. No sir indeed. There's still many a chance for me to prove my worth at IGVC. Wish me luck.